And welcome back to the channel. Today we're at Betley Church. Church which goes back to the 1300s. Originally all wooden. It's St Margaret's church. And it's another church which is actually open to the public. It's obviously Harvest Festival anytime. There's lots of posters. Betley Churchyard Trail. A lot of it you can see the original wooden beams. It's got a long sort of history going back to the 1300s, and obviously some of it's been rebuilt since then. More like a Methodist church because it's very small. It's a bit strange that you can't go so far because it's alarmed. And it's a bit sad in this day and age that you can't wander around the church, but it is at least open. A lot of them nowadays are not open. Please do not go beyond the rope. So I believe all this bit here is the original 1300 part of the church. Magnificent window there. I'm just seeing if I can actually see. There's quite a way away, so I'm trying to get a view of this. Can't make out who it is, but it's a man and a woman. All the windows are nicely decorated. There's a plaque there to Thomas Hudson, is it, Esquire? If we get a focus. There we go. Dodds Pool, died 1833. There's obviously a play school here. Nice display there. And say when you look at it, because a lot of Methodists are very homely, more so than a grand church, and this looks more sort of Methodisty. Some of that wood must be fairly old. So there is a lot of history to it. There's bits here and bits there that have been replaced and what have you, as you'd expect over the few hundred years. Just a view from the other side, the organ there, obviously. There's another big sign there, but I don't think we can get to read it. I mean, I don't see why people break into churches, because most of it's not very valuable on the open market. I know Congleton, they do get a lot of people breaking in. It's always been broken into. In the old days, churches were always open and you could come in to pray. And we have got a camera up there. a lot of signs here for gave their lives in 2 world wars, the people that the sun's just coming in and spoiling it all. Very crude old cross there. They certainly do go to town with the fruit and things for Harvest Festival. Well, the lights will come on. I'm just seeing if I can actually get so you can actually read this all about the church. You might have to pause the video a bit. There's another one. Steeple was constructed in 1690. Well, we're outside and taking a look at the graveyard. On back to 1866, 1871. Can't make that out on that one. (1893). 1872, and that one lasted well, hasn't it? Old Celtic cross. And Betley's a very small, put your foot down and take your foot off. You've gone through a little village. 1923. Well, so that could have been an interesting one, but I don't think we can actually read any of that. And there is a graveyard across the way, sort of like an extension to the church. And it will be a graveyard. There is a difference, of course. A cemetery is usually owned by the council or privately owned and not consecrated, whereas a church is a graveyard and normally consecrated land. So there's a lot of old graves. Looks as though that type is quite popular. You do find in various places that the local stonemason had their own sort of style, and it reflects in the graveyard. 1888. Again, you see the same sort of stone, and you usually see, because that's like an 1800, you usually see a few years later it'll all change as that person retired or passed on, and other stonemasons took it over. Don't see why the graveyard across the road is needed. There seems to be quite a lot of space here, but Again, it's a bit strange that some are facing one way and some are facing the other. Now, originally they all had to point the same way, so when the Lord comes back and from the east, they sit up and they'll be able to see him. And that's a really, make out 65 years old. You can't make out anything else. These always do well. That one's got a crack down it. That's from 1943. Again, same type of design. These are probably a lot older, 1836. These you can't read because ivy's taken over. It's not a very big graveyard, but 1869 one here. You can see the difference where you've got some from the 1800s that were posh graves and the lettering was cut deep and you can read them very clearly, and some of these, because it's under a tree, is that in 1880? That one's very, very black. And the ground's not too bad. Under 1880s, a lot seem to be like the 1800s. Can't make out what these are, but I'm presuming these two are family graves because they're both more or less identical in design, but you can't read the date on them. See, they're facing that way and this one's facing the opposite way, which is a bit unusual. And again, you got one there one way, one the other way. It was sort of gospel that you had to be able to sit up and see the Lord coming when he came from the east. Now this is a bit sad because there's three here and they must be high status because they're fair old graves, and you can't, and that one you can Mary Charlotte 1878, but again it's a family one. The two are virtually the same there. But quite why they don't take care of these. I mean, normally in a graveyard you have to be a member of the church to get into a graveyard. You can't make it out, and under there is another one. And I think under there you just can't see, but I think there's two under there. And again you've got these completely covered. Now come on, show some respect. You could quite easily just kill the stuff off and let people see the grave. There may be people that want to trace the ancestors. It's under that lot. So why they don't do it? It's a small farming village, so you think, you know, they'd have enough volunteers, etc., to be able to do it properly. can see the church. And a lot of it's sort of sandstone. And it seems very sparse up here with graves, so what's happened here I don't quite know. Very often what happens is the graves fall over and they put them somewhere else, and the record of who's where and what have you. That's quite an unusual gravestone. Can't really, can't make it out. Still in the 1800s here. Oh, some of these, isn't there? And these really do last. 1807. See how deep the letters are cut there. That's why you can still read them. Another dual one, so presumably that's family. Yeah. So it looks like two graves with one headstone split. That's an 1882. So you compare that with some of the ones we've seen of that age, and they're much better quality and have lasted. A couple of tombs. That one's 1790, is it? $1778. 78 years, that's a good age in them days. 1786. It's a bit spooky if you live in this house, because some of these graves, almost in your back garden. Well, they are in the sort of back garden, aren't they? 1877. There's an old one there. Obviously somebody planted a tree in front of it. That's a fair old monument. Again, you can't sort of make out the dates on these. A good view of the church. Nice sunny day for once in its life. I've got an interesting load of gargoyles. All along the way along there, you can see different ones. 1823, so nearly all the graves in this graveyard are around the 1800s, early 1900s. We've got a lot of the flat ones again. Still 1800s, 1877. That's quite an early one, 1839. And a pretty big dip. You can see the countryside here and the cricket club. We'll go now across and have a look at the newer graves. It's a mixture there across the road of new graves and some old ones as well. Well, this is the graveyard across the road. And it's mostly new graves, so we try not to sort of highlight too many new graves, because I've done 120,000 plus photos for Google Graves and only had 2 complaints. Most people, if you photograph them, very happy to have it on Google so it'll be there forever if it gets damaged. But we'll just have a quick wander around because there's some old graves sort of in the midst of all this. It's just a matter of finding them. I mean, for such a small village, you wonder so many graves. There's a couple of old ones here which you can't really make out what they say. I thought there was some war graves over here, but in 1966, nice little apple tree. I can see the other graveyard across the road there. That's possibly an old one, is it? Can't make out the date on that. 1913 or 43. (1958). An older one there. I'm saying most of them are fairly sort of recent. Yeah, a lot of them are very, very recent. 2007, 2012. You can see how things change because the graves spaced out, but all these modern graves here, presumably these are cremation and just the ashes because they're right close to each other. So these sort of 2016, 2005, 2002. So I would assume these are all cremated. So that is the way of the world. I think that's as much as we can see. I did think there was an old grave here somewhere, but I spot it. So don't forget to subscribe, because I need another 200 subscriptions, even if they don't watch it, before I can start making any money. Because at the moment it's costing me a fortune, time, money and effort to do these videos. So 200 people can just sign up and can make some money. I'm just looking at the top of the church, I can't focus on it. The bird, there it is. I thought it was a bird, but I think it's actually just part of the chimney. It looks like a bird, doesn't it?